Okay guys, so we're going to be talking all things Shadowhunters today, of course, and building some gingerbread houses.
Sorry, did you say Shadowhunters?
Oh my gosh, Nicola, what are you doing here?
I just heard you say Shadowhunters. I thought I'd sidle on over.
Amazing, we're building gingerbread houses, so you build one.
Ooh, I do. I'm nervous about it, but I do.
Hey Fam, welcome back to my channel. It is day 12 of Fanmas, the last day of Fanmas, but we're gonna make it a good one because today is all about Shadowhunters, and I spelled the sign right this year. So obviously I'm going to keep with the tradition of last year, which was building gingerbread houses and doing a challenge. And this year's guest, you guys know him well, Makeup Head of Department, Brian. Hui! Come on out, Brian.
Hey, yeah.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Of course.
Of
Good
course.
fun.
It's gonna be amazing. You've never built one of these before, or you have?
I've done one once, and it was not successful with my niece.
Well, you can't do worse than what Jonathan did last year, as you guys know.
Okay,
So,
challenge.
yeah, exactly.
I'm terrified by all things visually artistic, including cooking, which I've decided is a visual art.
I mean, it is to a degree, especially decorating cookies. I'm so bad at it.
I tried to do it with my son, and it ended up looking like something horrible and like viral. It was supposed to be a wreath, but I put red around the edges, so it looked like blood, and the green was mixed in. It was terrible. So what do we do? Tell me, show me.
So grab your icing
Got it.
and start piping the sides. And while you do that, I've got a very
Listen to her piping the sides. What does that mean? To me, pipe is a metal thing that transfers water in your home.
Okay, so let's build this.
All right.
Are we ready?
Okay, let's try this. I have to give a little shout out to Melinda from Haven Thorn Falls. Brought little mini Brad with me. She
Of
makes
course.
these awesome
The
little
best.
Funko Pops.
So I'm gonna start off with a really hard, important question to begin with.
Okay.
I ask all my guests this. What is your Hogwarts house?
You know what? I don't know, and I've never done the little thing where you find out.
You've never been sorted?
No, and yeah, sorry fans. I do enjoy the Harry Potter, but I don't know.
Wow. If I had to guess, I feel like you would probably be a Hufflepuff.
You know what's so weird?
What?
Jen and Verity, who are part of my team from Shadowhunters,
Yes.
said that the other day.
Really?
Because Verity's a huge Harry Potter fan, and it was her birthday, and we got
too.
Harry Potter decorations all over her station, and yes, they actually said that.
What is your Hogwarts house?
Okay, so I did the test, and the answer was Ravenclaw.
Okay.
Yeah, and I felt okay about that actually. I you know everyone wants to be Gryffindor.
Yeah.
I knew I wasn't going to be Slytherin, not because Slytherins are bad necessarily, just because I just don't have the same traits.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, I actually thought I was going to be Hufflepuff. So I was pretty happy with, I mean, Hufflepuff's great too.
Yeah.
Cedric, obviously.
Of course.
But I was actually, I was happy with the Ravenclaw.
I can see Ravenclaw.
No, I'm Harry Potter obsessed. I have all of the books, unabridged audiobooks.
Oh, amazing.
Both readers, yes. I've listened to both the two guys who do them, the British and American versions. And I listen to them before bed every single night. And so my son's too young for them, but right before bed, he's always like, Mama, are you listening to Harry Potter? Because I love Harry Potter.
Okay, so how did you get started in this industry, and how did you end up on Shadowhunters?
Okay, so I actually went to school for visual arts
Okay.
at York University.
Good.
And then after that, tried to become an artist, then went back to school for makeup.
Okay.
And then somehow got into the world of film and TV. So that was a long time ago. Cut to Shadowhunters.
Yep.
So I came on season 3, as most people know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I was there forever because it's such an awesome show.
It's a family.
And it was super daunting when I came in because I had about a week and a half to prepare.
Oh, wow.
And that's a lot of mythology, but thank God I, like everyone else here, am a total, I say it with pride, comic, geeky,
Fangirl, fanboy.
boy
Yeah.
kind of person that, sure, magical runes, awesome. CLA is great. You know, that was all wonderful. And again, having my wonderful team, Verity, who had been there for all seasons, and Amanda were there to help and guide me. You know, as well as the cast, you know? Yeah, I mean, it was pretty awesome. The first time I met Kat, she was doing some stunt rehearsal because she worked so hard, and walked right up to me, you know, I'm sorry, I'm sweaty, hi, I'm Kat, big hug, and helped me along. in terms of the rune placements and everything else, it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, you guys
So,
had a system going, right?
We did. Her and I did them together. So I would get her Aratsi, and I would get the top ones, and she would on the bottom of her arms. We kind of did it together. We actually have had a rune Bible. So anytime we stuck anything on anybody, it went into this big book, continuity book. So between Dom's like 23 runes if he was shirtless, to Kat's, I think Kat had a 16, 17 if she had, depending on what she was wearing. It was all in there. That book went away back to the network, I believe, but I have them all on my iPad. So if you ever meet me, I can show you a couple things. I think I did actually post one photo of some of Kat's runes. And they're all listed. And and then there's there's one of Dom's, there's one of Luke. I even have one which no one's ever seen of Will Tudor.
Oh, we love Will.
Because there was a moment we thought we might see him with his shirt off as he was being possibly being reborn.
Wow, we were
and
wrong.
We thought we had to do something beyond the couple that he had.
Yeah.
We did a whole thing, made it a little more military looking. Like we thought, you can see he's from like English branch.
Yeah.
He'd be slightly more ordered.
Right.
So that was really, really fun. That was a little insider, tip for y'all.
So how did you get started and how did you end up on Shadowhunters?
How did I get started with acting?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of those people, as long as I can remember, it's the only thing I ever wanted to do. My dad was in the business. My dad was a director and an actor and a writer. He did a lot of editor, he did a lot of different things in film. He actually didn't encourage us to be child actors because of the stuff that he'd seen. And having been an acting coach for kids, an on-set coach for years, I would agree with him on that for a lot of kids and a lot of sets. It's a questionable environment for some kids. So he would never encourage that, but he always did training with us when we were young and when we were little, and I just always loved it. And then I went to an art school for high school and majored originally in musical theater and then switched to drama because I realized that was what I really wanted to do. So now I'm sticking it in here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Into the piping.
Yes, exactly.
I'm learning. So then I went to theater school after that. And then I guess I got an agent when I was about 18, started doing commercials and stuff like that, smaller stuff. And then I went to theater school and did my training, had some really, really lucky, really fabulous training experiences, both in theater and film and TV. And then, I did theater for a long time. There was a lot of the racism in film and television, in the arts in general, was really strong for a long time. So like all I was auditioning for were these really, terrible stereotypical Latinx parts, like maids and nannies and it's interesting because in my 20s it actually didn't feel like a viable option. Also in terms of body diversity, right? Like
yes.
Women who looked like me just didn't exist on television when I was growing up and even into my 20s. So I sort of I did had great theater experiences and sort of was like, oh, I guess I'll do the occasional film and TV thing. And then the climate started to change in terms of different kinds of diversity, different kinds of roles for women, so things around. I'm an interesting example of someone whose TV career took off at like 32 or 33, and I just had a baby. Like it was the most unlikely time. When I was coming up in the industry, they always said, "Don't turn 30 and don't have a baby," because there was no interest in women over 30, and you certainly didn't want to have a kid. I mean, that was just like not. And people would actually say that to me, "Don't turn 30," and so you kind of, it was such a discouraging environment for a lot of years.
Don't age,
avoid that at all costs. Which is ridiculous because everyone knows that, like, honestly, you couldn't pay me enough to be less than 25. Like, life just gets better every single year. But anyway.
It's good to hear.
Oh my God, yeah. No, seriously, just hang in there. Like, it gets better. It doesn't just apply to high school. It gets better, applies to every 5 years of your life. I find things just get exponentially better. So then Shadowhunters, my son, I just had my son. He was about 3 months old. And I got this audition and and I didn't know anything about. My husband had been in the movie. My husband was in the Immortal Instruments movie.
Oh yes.
He was the vampire who poisoned Simon. So
okay.
And he and Alberto actually recreated that moment at a bar in Milan when we were at a convention. We had this moment where they recreated Carlos. My husband's name's Carlos Gonzalez Vio. So they recreated him poisoning Alberto's drink. It was really funny. But yeah, so I knew about Shadowhunters from that movie because my husband got the books before he started the movie and all that. But yeah, so that was sort of all I knew about it. And I went in and I auditioned, and the director, I actually had worked with the director before, the director who was casting that episode, which was fortuitous, a guy named Kelly Macon, one of the greatest directors on the planet, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So he kind of brought me into the show. And that was that. And then, but it was funny because Maris, like, I didn't know where it was going. You don't usually know when you audition for roles that aren't leads or regulars. You don't always know, because she wasn't a regular. I know she's a regular. I was a regular in season 3,
I was reading that, which is so
but it was
funny
originally
to think about now.
Yeah, well, and season 2, I was only in 4 episodes. Like, they kind of got rid of me in season 2. They were trying to go a different direction, and then so, like, you know, season 3 was a beautiful surprise. But season 1 was great, but I didn't know where it was going, right?
Yeah.
So it was really exciting to watch how she developed, because, you know, we almost never know anything about where our characters are going when you get a job. But yeah, it's funny because it just keeps going, right? Like, there's even more interest in it seems, since it got canceled. As referenced by the 2 Teen Choice Awards, it's won since we were canceled, which I find hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I love that a canceled show.
This year.
I know, and you're just like, what?
Yep.
It's so ridiculous, and the conventions have been amazing. Like, the whole convention scene is something I didn't know much about, and it's been really great. Like, meeting all the fans, and we have a really well, in our fan base, we have in my opinion, like, I have friends who are on other shows, and not to shit talk other shows. Sorry, can I swear? What kind of video?
Yeah, it's
okay. Sorry. You know, like, I have you know, I have no idea, but I do know that, you know, there's other fandoms that aren't as kind as our fan. Like, we have a really kind. I've never had, like, I have 165,000 Instagram followers, something like that, and I've never had a negative. Like, I can't read all of them, obviously, but I've never had a tweet or a comment that was cruel or trolly, or, like, we're very, very, very lucky.
Yeah.
We have an exceptionally, so the conventions are amazing because the people are so nice, and you get to know some of them. You see them at multiple events. So it's been the whole thing has been an amazing journey that I never expected. And I had a little baby when it all started. So my whole life, it was a part of a major life change for me. So Shadowhunters sort of marks that for me. Like, and you know, the cast were the first friends I had after I had my son, because you're kind of isolated as a mom, especially if you're working. So they were the first real, like, the first time I went out was when Dom and Kat invited me out for Halloween, and the first traveling I did was when we started doing conventions, and so it's been a very big thing for me personally as well, a very lovely, life-wise, a very lovely thing.
We
got
this. We got this.
I'm the bad contractor.
We can. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Just don't take it off.
Oh no, the walls are falling in now.
Oh my god.
My poor kid, like, I always figured when I became a parent, suddenly this crafty gene would kick in, but it turns out I literally just don't have it. It's not there. You know what? It's the piping. I didn't do enough piping. So we're just gonna have to live with it.
Okay, so it's been over 3 years since you started at Shadowhunters, which seems crazy.
Yeah.
Can you remember your first day? What was that like?
I was so overwhelmed.
Anyone would have been.
The first bit where
Did you know how big the show was?
I had no clue.
No?
I knew of the show, I knew of the movie, I knew of the books, but I did not know the fandom to it. And I've had, you know, a Twitter account just kind of there. You know, my Instagram is, I have a private one and a public one, and I was just like, just gonna look at this in the trailer, and I was like, I'm just gonna, like, post something. So I kind of put a shapeshifter rune on my arm, and I just kind of did a quick little, I'm just gonna post that on the new head department, you know, this season.
You didn't know what you were in for.
No clue. And everybody, Verity was like, oh, just wait. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And so, you know, I kind of got, like, it went on the next day, you know, a few likes and a few more likes, and it's like, oh, this is cool, like, you know, and then a few more, and then more.
Yep.
And And oh yeah, it just kind of built from there. And then I've always loved just doing, you know, fun photos. I've always done that, like for all the shows, even before social media. I would do photos of the cast and the crew, and then I'd, you know, give them to the office for the wrap party, and we just kind of have a fun little, you know, way of looking at everything. Just gonna put icing everywhere.
That's what Jonathan did last year. It's a pro
Yeah.
tip.
You know what? Just add more icing. It's kind of my philosophy. Doing a fight scene,
More is
add
more.
more blood.
Yeah.
Add more blood, it's all good.
More is more, right?
Yeah.
So how did you come up with the looks? I feel like most of them were established when you got there, right? But there were a couple characters.
Yeah, so, I mean, obviously, Clary and Dom were established. However, it was really fun for season 3, as y'all remember from episode 1, was when Clary gets her angelic, which is such a major one to have. So that we spent a lot of time in the placement, and then finally it felt like really right to be right here. It almost felt like a bracelet on her.
Right.
You know, so we got to add a few of the new ones. That was the fun part for me. A big thing, which was great fun, which I think a few of the fans clocked, was for Jonathan. I mean, because when Luke Baines took the role, we oh, this is the roof. Okay, very good.
Yeah.
We were trying to figure out a design pattern for him that would mean something. So it was really cool. I thought, well, he's obsessed with his sister and he kind of slightly hates, you know, Jace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you notice his designs, they're kind of inspired by both of them. So he's got an Aratsian's neck too, but it's upside down, it's slightly bigger. And everything is just askew on him, and we try to break his body up. So you know if they saw his full runes, that moment where he's changing in the house, if you look at it, everything is to try to shatter his body a bit. So then also, so it was a mixture of Clary and Jace as well. So where Jace had his equilibrium on his speed here, we did a little speed on the other side. And everything is just slightly off. So it's his, you know, he thinks he's normal, but he's not quite all there.
Right.
So that was just a fun way for us to kind of bring the
like
character.
an Easter egg to
And so I know Luke mentioned, I said, you know, if one fan sees this, one fan, like the
Oh,
little
I'm
Easter egg
sure.
I could do, and a few fans did kind of figure it out. And then the other fun one, which we did with Sydney Myers for Helen.
We love Sydney.
We did on her arm was angelic love. So we figured, you know, with Aileen.
So it was like a foreshadowing.
Exactly. So that was fun too to kind of do. I feel already having this little tray is helping in ways I never could have imagined.
I don't think this icing is holding anything together.
It's not, but at least it's doing, I don't know. No, I think with the one that I made with my niece, my dad had to like tie it with string to keep it up.
You know what? There's a pro tip for you. Use all the icing and tie your gingerbread house together. So whose look took the longest to create and come up with?
Oh, well, you probably all could guess would be Black Willow.
Yes, that was such a good look.
So they had done that on a different actress at the end of season 2. If you notice at the very end when she's kind of saying, you know, things to Jonathan.
Just coming out.
And so again, we kind of had to recreate that look on Anna. And that started off with about, I think, 3 or 4 of us with airbrushes. Oh, just spraying her down. Just spraying her down. And then on top of that, because she had to look like she's coming out of, you know, the muck and the tar of Edom.
Yes.
We kind of had to do this gloss sealer on top, and then this product called Ultra Crude all over her to make her look shiny and slick. And so that, but it actually took around 2 hours actually.
Oh, that's
And
not
then,
bad.
little fun fact, we shot a bunch for stuff in the church the same day. So the moment you see her with Jonathan,
Yeah.
kind of leaning over. We had to then shoot parts of it with her double, which we also do that makeup on, and switch her into Glamour Lilith.
Oh, in
So,
the same day.
Same day. We had 2 hours, an hour to clean her up completely, and that makeup is waterproof.
Oh my god!
Yeah. And,
so a shower didn't even help that much though.
And then having to reset her, so we clean her all off, and then Stephanie Terzo hair was blow drying her hair as I'm trying to put her makeup on, and we somehow got it done in an hour. An hour clean up, an hour to reset her, and then she was glam for the rest of the day.
And what would you say were your top 3 looks in the series?
Well, I loved Glamour Lilith because that was something that we came up with together.
Yeah.
So that was kind of awesome. And even though Lola Sealy Queen was established, to kind of bring that look to adult Sealy Queen, to Kim, was pretty amazing too. So we kind of tweaked it all a little bit and did that. What else? What was great about the show was that I got to do a bit of everything. So you got the elevated beauty, all the women look different, and then also all the fantasy and the effectsy blood and all that stuff. So it's kind of the perfect show for makeup artists if you like all that stuff, which I do.
Yeah, there was a lot of different looks in that.
Yeah, and then even I have to say too, which people kind of noticed, was when Clary was going dark after she got the demonic rune on her. So it was a slow progress, and we didn't want to be all of a sudden she's taken over and boom, a whole new look. We kind of did it incrementally, like through a few episodes.
Yeah.
So we started off by switching her lip color to a cool tone versus the warm tone she had. Slightly changing again her blush and making it a little up into her cheekbones to kind of really chisel her face even more. And then slowly added some dark purple liner in her waterline, and everything was to kind of make her sleeker and until she hits dark Clary, and then you got that gold and the black and that kind of a look.
Which was one of my favorite looks.
Yeah, so that was great. And then when she gets the demonic red of her, we just literally took all that away and brought her back to the Clary we know and love. So.
You recently sang the anthem at a Winnipeg
God,
game.
yes, that was
an amazing voice.
Terrifying. Thank you.
You were great. You were great. What? That was a childhood dream of yours. What else were you a fan of as a kid?
Well, it's interesting because it wasn't particularly hockey that I was a fan of. Just in general, whenever I would watch sporting events, the person singing the national anthem, to me it always seemed like that was the height of. Like the height of a career, like Whitney Houston did it, and we'd watch I remember like the Whitney Houston version ended up being on the radio all the time because it was so amazing, and anthems are so epic, so I always just thought it would be so cool to do something like that. But I mean, sports wise, like, to be honest, I played sports for a long time, but I'm not a big sports watcher, like I like playing sports, and I actually watch more like local games than I do anything else. But yeah, so I happened to say that we were at a Winnipeg Gold Eyes game when I was shooting Burden of Truth, which is shot in Canada. It's on a CW in the States. Oops. Oh, I thought I was just going to sprinkle it and it was just going to land. But yeah, so I happened to say to the showrunner, the creator of the show was at the game with us when we were all at the game together, and I was like, oh, it was a big dream of mine, and it sort of started out as a joke, like, oh, we should get you to sing at a Gold Eyes game, which is the Winnipeg baseball team. But then when the time came, the season was over, and we were like, oh, that's too bad. And then it just happened, and then they were like, well, maybe you could sing at like the minor league hockey game in Winnipeg. And I was like, yeah, that might be okay. And then the minor league hockey promoter guy was like, actually, we have a slot at the NHL game on, and so they called me, and I was like, the what? Like, I was like the National Hockey League? Yeah. I was like, is there another NHL that's not the National Hockey League? So it was terrifying, but it was amazing. Like, 15,000 people all really excited about the game, and they all screamed True North. For those of you who aren't Canadian, our anthem goes the True North, strong and free, and 15,000 people go True North. And luckily they warned me, because otherwise I think I would have had a heart attack. But yeah, so it was amazing. It was I was so nervous though, because I sang for years, but I stopped singing professionally about 10 years ago. So it's been a while since it's been something that was part of my career. Look at her station and look at mine. I look like I'm 5 years old. I'm dirty. There's mess
You know
everywhere.
what?
Look at the mess I
If
made.
Shadowhunters has taught us anything, we don't judge, okay? We just
But
have
look
fun.
at what she's doing. Look at what she's doing. And look at what I've done. I'm like 5 years old. Literally, my 5-year-old could do better than this. It's like, this is not the work of a grown-up. And
It's
I don't
finger
even...
painting. It's, you know.
Oh, you're kind.
Okay. Okay, the Malec wedding, we have to talk about it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Season 3B is over. That was your last day on set, correct?
It was everyone's last day. It was the last day
What
of
was
the
that
show.
that day like? We recently got that video of you and
Oh,
Magnus dancing,
me
you and
and
Harry
Harry
dancing,
dancing.
which was so sweet.
And I didn't know that neither Harry or I, we were talking about this when we were at the conventions this summer, neither of us knew that video was taken because it was someone standing behind us. It
Yeah.
was one, I think it must have been one of the social media people for the show.
Yeah.
So we actually didn't know that video existed until it came out. So it was really lovely. But yeah, that was a very special day because first of all, it meant that, and I think they did this on purpose. Todd and Darren are just like the greatest guys, and Todd was directing that episode, and he made it really special for everyone in the way that he set up the shoot for the finale. So, you know, having the wedding on the last day of shooting meant that we all got to be together.
Yeah.
It meant that we literally got to spend the last day of the show, period, as a group. Isaiah was shooting it at the time, but he actually came. He and his lovely wife, who's incredible, they actually came at the end of the night just to hang out, and so we all got to, and they got a bunch of, you know, celebration drinks, and we had a bit of a party after, and it was just really lovely. And it was the perfect way to end the show. Like, everyone was together, and the wedding was epic, and we were all dressed so beautifully, and it was really lovely. It was a fabulous night, and it was very emotional because it also, you know, for a lot of us, it completed the stories that we'd started, you know, for especially with the first wedding and the second wedding, right? Like, for Magnus and I, when I read it, I cried when they sent me the script. I was like, oh my god! I was gonna ask,
when did you read it?
I had no idea. No, I had no idea until they sent me the script. Yeah, no, I was alone at home. Not alone. I think my husband was there because I remember being like, oh my god, I'm gonna watch, because I just turned the page and it was like, literally, it was just like, you know, Magnus comes around the corner, or Maris and Magnus come around the corner, and I was just like, oh my god, I can't. It was so beautiful. What a beautiful idea.
How far we've all come.
Yeah, well, exactly. So it was just the most fabulous night. And Todd's such an amazing director. He did stuff like, for example, he just played the music. So the music that you hear in the episode, he put that on. So that's what Harry and I are dancing to. So he actually let us do a couple of takes where we didn't have to worry about our mics. We literally just got to listen to the music and walk down the aisle to the music. Because normally there's no music. Normally the music's put in after, and normally it has to be totally silent. So he let us just experience it and walk. He actually let us walk down the aisle. For real. And we'd never heard the song before, so he was like, this is the song that you're gonna hear, this is the song that's gonna be there. So it was just really special. He's an exceptional director. He's an amazing guy. And Darren, like, they're just really fabulous people to work for.
How did you come up with the looks for the Malec wedding? Because that was I mean, there was so much pressure. All the fans wanted to see it. And there were so many characters that came back for that, which was amazing.
Oh, definitely. So Amanda O'Leary, my right-hand woman, and she was there the season before, she did the boys' makeup. So she kind of, you know, got a lot of fun with their looks. And everyone else just kind of made them really pretty, and, you know, it's like it was the time for celebration. So we got to just play off of what our wonderful costume designer, Shelley,
Yes, I love Clary's dress.
Oh my gosh, Angela, she was a seamstress who made a lot of Magnus's clothes, Anna's clothes, like.
Oh, they're all handmade. That's
a lot of them were Steely Queen's gown, like Angela, love her, you know, and Shelley, amazing. That was really fun but crazy because you saw how many characters were there, and that was shot over 2 days. And that was the last 2 days of shooting.
What was your last day on set, and what was the wedding like? Which I guess is one question
now.
You
may have seen some photos. We shot until about 2 a.m. And the last scene that we shot was the moment where Clary walks away from Jace just before all of her runes disappear.
That's such a heartbreaking scene to end
Yeah,
on.
so as you can imagine, like, Kat, her emotions were just, you know, bubbling all day. And meanwhile, in the other room, there was like a big thing full of champagne, and people were all ready to party. And I was like, no, we have one more shot left to do. So we got it, and then there was some video out there, and then it was like series wrap, and it just like cheers, like from everybody. I think I had my tissue box and handing it out to people. Yeah, and then we went crazy. We went crazy in the Institute. We had a party.
Yes, I heard you guys.
Yeah, there are photos out there.
That would have been the perfect day to end on, though, like a celebration, and everyone came back, and
yeah, I may have left at about 6 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
People were there till 8 a.m. It was crazy. We just took over the studio, and we just, you know, kind of wandered around and looked at everything, and it was just good fun.
I'll put a snowman on mine as a nod to Jonathan from last year.
There we go. That's true. Yeah, I mean, Jonathan was fun too, because we actually just, with his runes, we found some fan art, so that kind of inspired where his...
Guys, you heard it here.
Yeah.
That's
where his runes
amazing.
were. Yeah, so that was the cool thing. Anytime we had like a character came up, and I was like, oh, okay, this is, you know, a new person, or someone from the books. We kind of tried to work with the actors to make sure their look was perfect.
Yeah, you guys were super dedicated to the fandom. We appreciate it so much.
Well, it was really funny too, because initially, and I think Anna posted this, the initial look for Lilith was completely different. Really? It was initially brought to me as just kind of cool New York girl, like really kind of easy.
Oh.
So she did post a photo, and it's really like, it's not a lot of makeup, it's just kind of, and then I saw the outfits and I went, oh, we're totally using different.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's very different. She's so dramatic looking, and the colors are so like stark.
Oh yeah, but the best thing was her, so her first day was the scene where she's in the hospital before she possesses Tim, the character Tim.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And she's looking at the babies in the maternity ward, and they'll go up to block the scene, and then I get a note, they have a makeup change. And I'm like, oh gosh, it's really hard to take a lot of that down.
Yeah.
But the note I got was, can we do 10% more? And I went, oh yeah. It's like, more is more.
We can do that. I feel like Lilith, that's just like her personality too. More is more.
Oh yeah, and you know, between the makeup and, oh wow, look at that, I caught that. Just,
wow, the reflexes.
Save Christmas.
That's
But yeah, it's always good to work with people you've worked with before, and you know, even actually Nicola. It's so funny because the first day I walked in when she was in, I was like, oh hi, I'm Brian. She goes, you've worked with her before, and I was like, and I had done her makeup on season 1 of The Strain.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah. So it was really cool.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I mean,
she's super busy. She has a lot going on.
Oh, she is. Yeah, busy. But yeah, that was really cool. I was like, oh my gosh, you know.
My house is
Mine was weirdly staying, and I didn't use a lot of the icing, and I'm...
It's Shadowhunters magic. That's
what you got.
Maybe.
Yeah, just do a little... I don't know, that's my bad.
That's your Magnus.
Exactly, Magnus Light. I'm just not touching it anymore, because I'm thinking if I do, then it'll fall apart.
This is why we build gingerbread houses on this channel, guys.
It's a set from Three Little Pigs.
It's true. Yeah. It's an aesthetic. It's a deconstructed.
It's a personal choice.
Gingerbread.
There's no judgment here.
That's true. We're all artists here.
If we've learned anything from Shadowhunters, you're all allowed to be how we want to be.
That's perfect.
And encouraged.
Whatever your skill level is.
It's like the chill-out house.
So you and Nicola are going to New York Con next year.
We are, yeah.
What are you most excited about, looking forward to with that one?
Super excited. I mean, you guys, it was really wonderful when we did the 3D premiere here, and it was really cool
so
because it was nice. Like, I love being a film technician. Like, that's awesome. I love it. But you're behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But it was nice to be included with the cast, and people seemed to be excited to like myself and John Rakic, locations, and are interested in how we put together, you know, the show, which is really nice that people kind of take an interest in what we do too, kind of, you know, unsung heroes behind the scenes.
Excited. If you guys didn't know, we hosted the 3B premiere.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And this guy joined us, and it was great.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was great fun. And the New York Con, when they approached me, I thought, this is really cool. So it'll be a little mini reunion for us and a bunch of, including the cast you all know and love, but like some other of the crew are coming, and I think Todd and Darren are coming.
Yes, they announced them. I think they're having a concert too.
Yeah, it's going to be really good fun. So if you haven't got your tickets yet, you know, get them, but kind of hang with us. And, you know, I love interacting with the fans because it's kind of what we do. It's like, you know, shows that I love and I get to work on and it's appreciated by the fans. It's really amazing. So, you know, it's always interesting when you meet someone who, you kind of forget, like, oh, okay, I guess they have seen my photo or somebody. I don't know. I guess it's my own fault because I put it out there. But yeah, they're actually an interest in what we do, and that's always, you know, gratifying to
it looks like such a unique spot because all the BTS and Todd and Darren and everyone's
and I think that's the idea, right? Is like mixing the crew and the cast together, and that should be kind of neat. So I think we're gonna have, hopefully, I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I think they're gonna have some panels where we'll mix it up a bit, hopefully. You know, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
They're working things out, but yeah, if you do come and, you know, come and say hi and, you know, we're gonna have a good time.
So now we just do whatever we want?
Yeah, pretty much. There's candy, there's colors.
Bedazzle the crap out of this.
I mean, that's pretty much it. And you and Brian are both going to the New York Con next year.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
About that one?
Oh, what am I most looking forward to?
One of the biggest ones, and it's cool. They're bringing all the BTS people and like all of your.
That's really neat. Yeah, I was really interested in that.
Coming.
Which John?
Your location scout.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I saw his photo. Yeah, I'm really excited about that. The other thing I'm excited about is it's the first one. Like I've done the Milan convention a couple of times, Paris, Brussels, Seoul. We went to Korea this year, which was amazing. Great convention there. But this is the first one I've ever done in North America, so I'm curious to see how it's different. Because I do find that the conventions are.
I don't think we've ever had one in North America.
No, well they have the like Comic-Cons and stuff.
Yes. I don't think there's ever been a Shadowhunters one.
No, so I'm really curious just to see like what that. What the differences are, because I have found that every country is different and the fans are all equally kind but slightly different in each place. So I'm really curious about that. Yeah, I'm interested. Oh god.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
You know what? I'm just gonna smear some here so I can.
It's an aesthetic.
Some
it's fine.
Oh, it's
There's
a
snow
choice.
on there. There's snow.
It's a choice.
Yeah,
it's a choice.
Exactly.
I hope you're liking this video. If you are, make sure to hit that subscribe button and check out the rest of my Shadowhunters content. I just want to pop in quickly because I got some amazing news that I am so excited about and I had to share with you guys. So as you probably know, there is a convention happening in New York in April of next year, and I am going to be moderating in the Idris panel room. Guys, I can't wait. I'm so excited to meet all of you and the cast and the crew and just have the best time. I honestly have no words. I'm so excited. If you guys are going to New York, let me know in the comments below. I can't wait to meet you all. But in the meantime, let's get back to that video and the giveaway.
Now, do you have a favorite storyline that came out of the show? I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot. It's hard to say. I mean, in terms of like overall storylines, I loved the development. I mean, obviously you always have soft spots for elements of your own storyline, right? Because also it's the one that you spend the most time on. And so what I loved was, for me, with the storyline of the Lightwood family, was the massive distance that they came as a family from season 1 to season 3.
Yeah.
It was a very hopeful story, but it was also, it showed, you know, it showed some parents don't start out doing so great, you know, like Maris was not supportive of either of them. And a lot of people have really terrible parents. I mean, one thing that I talk about a lot with fans is like, you know, I've met a lot of fans who, you know, are members of the LGBTQ community, or even sometimes not necessarily members of the LGBTQ community, but are for one reason or another not accepted by their family members. And it's a devastating thing, but it's very real for a lot of people in the world. Like, and to not be accepted by your parents it's a tragedy. But it's also such a huge reality for so many young people. And so I think it's really important that we don't shy away from addressing that, and that you know, life, you can find your own family, and you can find, like, it's your parents' loss if they don't, like, that was the thing I loved about the Maris story, was it was her loss. Like, her son and her daughter were actually finding their way and finding love, and Maris was the one who was left alone because she was not actually, you know, she wasn't worthy of that love in the beginning, and she wasn't putting it out there. And so I love that about that story, watching that relationship develop, and that they allowed her to change, and they forgave her and allowed her to be back in their lives again.
That's what Shadowhunters did so well. They explored so many stories so beautifully of things that you don't normally see on television at all.
Well, and that, you know, we're just starting to see, I mean, I remember sitting around the table one day and looking around, just looking at the diversity, and honestly, like, when I was a kid, like, I'm a mixed race kid, from a family where, you know, we encountered racism in different ways, and not nearly as much as some of my peers did, but I wonder sometimes, like, I looked around the table and I was like, if I had grown up seeing this kind of diversity on television, life would have been different. Like, you know, and for my friends in the LGBTQ community, and I identify as bisexual when I was kind of, you know, when I was discovering my own relationship to gender and sexuality in my teens, and, you know, what would it have been? And I was very lucky. I came from a very accepting family who sort of helped me through all of those processes. But generally speaking, that there was nothing out in the world to give us any hope that it was going to be okay, or that it was open to, and I mean, that's still the case, obviously, for a lot of kids, and particularly in a lot of in every country in the world, but certain cultures in particular. Although I have to say, I do think that things like homophobia and racism and, you know, misogyny, like, they're equal opportunity hate, right? Like, you see it everywhere. But at least if we're showing positive examples in the media, if people see themselves represented, at the very least, you can find some solace in knowing that you're not alone. And exactly. I looked around the table every once in a while at the table read and would just go like, wow, the world is changing. There's so many horrible things going on in the world. Like, it's a terrible time in the world right now. But then there are these rays of hope, right? And if you don't have those, so I think Shadowhunters is a great example of a show that is giving some of that hope, you know, like allowing us to have some of that hope.
And you're also a part of Artists for Climate Change.
Yes,
which
ARCA,
I love.
Fabulous organization. Yeah, very proud of that. Did some really great work around the election, encouraging people to vote with climate action as the main priority. And, you know, I think we all would have been happier had it been a majority government, or, you know, obviously, you know, like, you want as much liberalism as possible, right? And even if you're not liberal, you definitely don't want a conservative government. It's the exact opposite of what we need in the world right now, is to go in that direction. But part of what I liked about what ARCA was doing too is that they weren't saying that it's bad to be conservative. Like, be whatever you want. But the issue, my issue is, you can be you can associate politically however you like, as long as you're not ruining the planet, or as long as you're not hateful. So I feel the same way about religion. I feel the same way about, like, if you know, my question is, how do people belong to certain religions and political parties that have these really negative stances on things like human rights and the environment? And you know, like, a lot of people say, like, well, I believe in climate change, and I'm not homophobic, I'm not racist, but I still belong to these organizations who do still stand for that. So to me, there's a real
actions speak louder than words.
Well, exactly. And so for me, in the election, what I liked about what ARCA was doing is they weren't saying, like, vote liberal, vote this, vote that, vote NDP, vote Green. They were saying, like, vote for whoever has the strongest climate plan. Like, we don't care what your what your political background is. We don't care how you voted in the past. Just this has to be the main issue, right?
It should be the only issue.
Well, I mean, because the interesting thing is, and like I love when people talk about stuff like fiscal responsibility, and it's like your money's gonna go up in flames with the planet. So
exactly.
I don't understand that argument. It's like you literally have no other concerns if there's no planet to live on. So so just so you know, this is happening and it's a disaster. It's just like sliding down the side.
My roof is gonna fall apart, I think.
Hey, this is the most creative in a cooking set. To me, this is cooking. This is actually, my husband would laugh at that because I'm like, oh, I'm cooking, because I don't cook. So to me, this is like heavy culinary. This is a culinary experience for me.
Okay, so Shadowhunters won another PCA this year.
Yeah, crazy. So good.
Sci-fi fantasy show of the year, which is funny and amazing and so heartfelt. The show means so much to so many people.
Yeah.
What's it meant to you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I mean, I think this is probably true for a bunch of us on the show, but it was a life changer for me. The way that it was like, for example, for Kat and I are really good friends, and she's been a huge gift to me in the last week. She's one of the massive gifts that have come out of doing the show is her friendship.
An angel.
She's such a good friend. She's just a lovely, like everything you see of her is true. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's one of those people, the camera stopped rolling and she's still that person. Like she's just an absolute doll. But yeah, so for me, for her, obviously it was like this massive thing because she was, so young and it was her first big lead and in television. Yeah. But for me, it was huge because it marked the beginning for me of a couple of things. It marked the beginning of me actually realizing that the media was changing, which gave me a lot of hope about my own future. It also marked the beginning of my life as a parent, which was a huge shift for me. And to be a new parent and on a show that you feel very strongly is going to help the next generation is a very inspiring thing. And then meeting all the fans has been really important because most of the time fans want to connect with me about their experiences of, oftentimes it's fans who have had really negative experiences as LGBTQ youth with their parents or are approaching that milestone of trying to find out who their parents are in this context. So the stories that people have shared with me the fans have shared with me over the last few years, like to have strangers invite you into such intimate and really important parts of their story is a very moving thing. And the gratitude that I have now, like it's really highlighted for me how lucky I am, but also like how much we still have to do. And so it's been a very, very important experience for me personally. And creatively, it was really interesting too because Maris, like, I felt kind of like I played 3 characters over the 3 years, right?
Yeah,
like
she grew so
every
much.
season, she changed so significantly, and that's a really fun challenge as an actor from one season to the next, especially when you don't know what's going to happen. You get a script and you go, oh, okay, so she's changing, and she's changed a lot off camera. So how do you play that? And so creatively, it was really interesting too.
Okay, so Shadowhunters won another PCA this year.
It did.
Sci-fi fantasy TV show of the year.
Yeah.
Amazing. This fandom's amazing. What does Shadowhunters mean to you?
It came at a perfect time. Like it was, again, I've been in the business for a long time, and it was a perfect show to have gone on at the time that I did. And then again, between the cast and the crew, the fans are amazing. Like I blew my mind when the Save Shadowhunters campaign came along. I couldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I knew they were out there. Yeah. But to see that amount of passion from the fans was amazing. Like it was just, and I've interacted with a few of them here and there, and how much the show means to them, and for varying reasons. You've got people who are just love it because it's a fantasy show. You've got the fact that it, huge LGBT following, which is amazing. You've got the fact, like the diversity of the cast, and it's not even intentional. But it was really cool one day. I think I was on set with like Chai, Harry. I don't know if Jonathan was there. So, anyways, it was really cool. It's like, cool. All the actors are Asian today. That's awesome. That's really neat. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it wasn't like, it was just they were there. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Yeah, it's a pretty special show.
I've been involved in so many fandoms, and this is
Yeah.
unlike anything I've ever seen.
Yeah, I was unsure at first because I thought, okay, what happens with the next show?
Yeah.
And thankfully, I have a lot of fans who are fans of both shows, which is great.
Yeah.
Or some fans who are like, I'll check it out, or just happy for you that you're working. You know?
Yeah, they're so supportive for everyone's projects.
And that's the same, for Kim, Murray, and Anna Hopkins, and Sydney. Everybody got, I got to work with Sydney again this past summer on a new Netflix show called Grand Army, so that was really cool.
Yes, I saw you on that as well.
So,
that comes out in 2022, right?
Yeah. And then Kim and Sydney did, I didn't work on it, but Stephanie Terzo, who did hair on Shadowhunters V Wars, it's the new Ian.
Yes, Ian Somerhalder.
His show that was also shot in Ontario.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so everybody thankfully has kind of gone off, and doing cool things. Yeah, it is funny though, because obviously the cast being, in their 20s, most of them, of course are going to go out. So it was interesting, going out a few times with them and then having the fans kind of come up. That was kind of interesting. And also in Paris as well.
Yes, I shot in Paris.
When that was such a great experience. So, it was Dom, Luke, Kat, myself, was only a handful of the Toronto crew, so we had the Paris crew. And I was lucky enough to have been chosen to go. Thank you, room placement.
Yeah.
But yeah, when people it was interesting. One day we were shooting the scene on the bridge, the Bir Hakeim Bridge. Near the Eiffel Tower, and then all of a sudden we start seeing people around us. We're like, oh, okay.
Stop it.
And then the one day where we came back from shooting, and there was about 40 fans outside the hotel because they figured out where we were, and again, Kat, Dom, and Luke so gracious, post for post with all of them.
Kind.
Yeah,
we are so blessed with this cast and you guys because the fandom is amazing and generous and incredible. But then you guys are so giving to us as well, and it's.
Well, I think there's there's mutual respect too, right? We love the fans because they made the show a success, which is awesome. And I think in turn though, everyone's really lovely, when they see the cast out in public. It's a quick hi, hello, and even I think one point too where we were chilling on the Seine one afternoon after brunch, and we forgot to look around, and there was about 20 15-year-old kids.
Oh my gosh, just watching you guys.
And then they came over, and then we just said, if you'd let us have our drinks, when we finish, then we'll do photos. And they were lovely enough to just let us have a moment, because the cast were, they're human too,
Yeah, they're awesome.
So they did. They waited, and we had this wonderful group photo, and I think, but a couple times I think we were out, we were in Paris, of course. I was translating, to the cast, to the fans. It's like, okay, just get a second, and then we'll get a photo. Last looks okay, and of course it's always okay. So, yeah, there.
And a quick shout out to the French Apron Company who gave us these
Yes,
amazing
lovely.
aprons. They were nice enough to send me, Brian, and Nicola our own aprons, and there's going to be one in your giveaway coming up too.
Fun.
So stick around for that. I'm a part of so many fandoms, and this one is so unique and beautiful, and the fact that you guys give us back what we give you is just the greatest thing.
It's such a nice fandom. It's amazing.
It's the best.
But you guys have done so much. This is the thing that I always find funny, at the conventions and stuff, is when fans are always thanking us for stuff, and it's we literally that you guys did this for us. There's no show. You know what I mean? We got a job, but there's no show without the fans.
Yep.
And you guys, and the campaign to save it, ultimately it turned out there was no way to save it, just because of the politics around why it was canceled. But, still I feel like no one really has a clear picture. Television, there's so many, especially now with
so many loopholes.
She's never having me back. This is going to take you an hour to clean up, and I'm not staying. I don't do cleaning up. So this is...
No, of course. You know
because I'm 5 years old. I was trying to do something fancy here, and again, it just looks like someone threw up on a gingerbread house. But yeah, the fans, you guys did that, right? And the afterlife that the show has and is going to continue to have is because of you guys, right?
It's a community.
It's a total community, and so the gratitude that we have is so huge. And also, to be honest, like I let you in a little secret. Actors and interviews always, every show, someone in an interview goes, "We're like a family," and the reality is that like that's a lie on some shows. Like, because you're never gonna be like you should be. If you're a working actor, you should be grateful. You should be so great. You should be down on your knees grateful. Yeah. Just like whatever, even if you're not religious, just take a seat and like remind yourself how grateful you are. Yeah. But oftentimes on shows, there's people who get along, there's people who don't, but it's actually, there are a lot of instances where it's a family vibe, but there's also a lot of instances where it's not.
It's a job.
Where it's a job, and that's totally fine because it is a job, right? Yeah. But what's been so great, my husband and I were just talking about this, because what's been so great about this show is that legitimately everyone is lovely and we all really do get along. So now that we're doing all this traveling together and stuff with the conventions, we now know each other's spouses and each other's partners and each other's friends, and we actually have a lot of fun doing stuff together, like it feels like you're going on vacation. Like now when I go to conventions, it feels like a vacation with my friends, even though it's still work and there's a work element for sure. But that's not always the case. Like I've done shows where I like the people very much, but you didn't really connect. Whereas for me, what was so nice about Shadowhunters, especially since after you become a parent, especially as I said earlier, if you're a mom and you're working full time, and then you feel really guilty, and so your social life, you have your work and you have your family. And so for me, they were my first real friends as a parent, right? Like after I was a parent, people who I saw regularly who would make me go out and remind me that was okay, and they're the people that I spent most of my social time with in the last last few. That's not true for them because they're they don't have children yet, and they lead full exciting lives outside of work. But for me, it's been really significant socially as well.
Justin's off camera. He can come judge our gingerbread house.
Oh gee, I wonder. Now here's the question: are we judging on best gingerbread house, or are we judging on lowest skill level?
All right. Okay.
Look at him trying. Look at him being like, how do we make it? It's fine. I'm just happy to have given it a shot. They bounce. See, I pictured like on TV, if I did that, it would just stick.
But honestly, I felt like you had the most fun. So
I agree.
I feel like I would still give it to you though.
Wow.
I would.
To me?
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, I didn't. Really?
Yeah.
Look at that. I think we can call it a tie because that's the better one. But I do feel like
still there.
I feel like we can all agree that it was harder for me based on the chaos around me. So wow.
We had the most fun. That is what counts.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, Justin, do you want to come judge this? Justin's doing our BTS behind the scenes here.
It actually is a competition.
It is, yeah. So,
all right.
This is a deconstructed gingerbread house.
All right.
An abstract right there.
Very like Jackson Pollock.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I've honored Jonathan with my stamina.
Of course.
This is a single family home, move-in turnkey, move-in ready. I watch a lot of Hui House Hunters. It's a blank slate for decorating as you will.
You can really make
you have
it
to
your
live
own.
with these two people. They just hang around, but they're okay. They're gonna like, it's a tree. Sorry, one person.
And
person
you're
masquerading as a
decorating
tree.
tree.
Okay.
So
I'm ready to live with the tree. Very tough. I really like the decorations on this one, definitely. But of course, this one's already freestanding, and the decoration already sells itself. So I'm gonna have to go on this one.
I admit defeat.
Congratulations,
Brian.
There you go.
My imaginary hat.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This has been amazing. And little Brian.
There we go. Oh yes, say there we go.
There you go. It's his home.
It's his home.
If he's moving in, then I'm definitely moving in.
There we go.
Amazing. Okay, so we've got a giveaway for you guys. Will you stick around and help me giveaway
Of
some
course.
stuff? Let's do it. So this first item comes to us from French Aprons, guys, and it's what she's wearing right now. Check it out. Guys, these bookmarks come from Book Bubbled, and how adorable is this? All of the characters.
Aw, cute.
Fandomized Shop brings us these parabatai cuffs as well as a Malec necklace, which is so beautiful. The Malec necklace is a quote, and the parabatai cuffs you can share with your friends.
Oh my god. these be any cuter? Who made these?
Aren't they so cute? Those are from Marvelous Strings, and they're Jason Alec. He even has little bow and arrows in his bag that you can take out. It's so cute.
This is so cute.
This book comes from Brian, guys. You guys know this one well. The fans made this. Love makes us stronger.
Such a beautiful book.
And the donations from buying this book go to the Trevor Project, which is awesome. So you can get your very own copy today. This rock solid panda digital print comes to us from WickedTinkPrints. And how awesome is this? We need more rock solid panda in our lives.
You can't not love Rock Solid Panda.
And this mug comes from StickerBeeDesigns by the Angel, guys. Have your own copy. And Shadowhunters mug. Next up, we have this candle from WickWishCandleCo. This is the New York Insistute inspired candle.
This was awesome.
Guys, this one comes to us. It is Raphael, your own custom Funko Pop from Fox Magic Customs. Aspihesi has given us 3 prints this year. We've got Malec, Clace, and Sizzy. These rune necklaces and earrings come to us from Pamela Hattie. They're so beautiful and all made of sterling silver. The iconic artist, IconicNephilim, David, has given us another poster this year, and how beautiful is this? I love his artwork. This giveaway is sponsored by Pure Fandom. Obviously, I love them. I'm all about fandom and positivity here. Pure Fandom is a fun and supportive fan community. Check them out for all things pop culture, everything from music and movies to podcasts and comics. So if you want to win this amazing Shadowhunters giveaway, then comment down below whose gingerbread house was your favorite. Remember, you must be subscribed for your entry to count. A massive thank you to French Aprons and Pure Fandom for sponsoring this giveaway. This giveaway is open internationally, and you can find all the rules in the description box below. I hope you've enjoyed the 12 days of Fanmas. It was so much fun putting this together and having all my special guests. A massive, massive thank you to all the fan-made creators and my special guests and everyone that contributed to this amazing project. I hope you all have a lovely holiday season. Happy holidays, guys!
Probably on my face.
You built your first gingerbread house. How
I
does it feel?
did. It feels really good, actually. I feel like gingerbread houses represent like every child's ultimate dream, a house made of candy.
It's
And
an accomplishment because it's hard.
it's actually harder than I thought.
It's very hard.
The piping was a revelation. And now I'm gonna touch my face.